Tumblr time, let's go! Trump is dead this and Trump is dead that. The obvious answer for Trump's sudden disappearance is that Trump has gone into his very first heat and the White House is trying to cover up that he's an Omega. Speaking of unhinged stupid stuff I've read recently, except that a breeding king involves a third party that is not ever capable of consent, unborn children. All involved parties can't consent to the sexual activity. It is not okay. I think they meant to use accept instead of accept, like with the ACC instead of EXC, because those mean two very different things. Also, this is just a really dumb take. Trans women are actually women for real, not in a metaphorical sense, not in a anyone can be anything sense, but genuinely actually makes more taxonomical sense to classify them in the category of woman than any other group. It's a position you'll find is pretty radical even in queer spaces. My cutting-edge radical queer politics, actually meaning it instead of just saying it as an empty slogan. You know, the funny thing is, I always started being called a radical in the comments, and I had no idea what to do with that. Because I got that just from saying trans people are valid. I didn't think that was a radical position. That's kind of sad. That medieval peasant you're trying to kill with hyperpop is gonna make you clean and butcher a chicken, and you're gonna throw up. Everyone shut up. The guys standing by the wall like nervous middle schoolers because they're scared of the pit are about to teach us about the true meaning of punk. I've always wanted to learn about rebellion from people who are too embarrassed to dance in public. I love self-referential statements where you can just say the name of the thing you wish to express and it counts as having expressed the thing so named. Apologies, greetings, fair warning. We should be able to do that with more things, I think. Official Speech Acts post. I think it only works if we all understand what it is, because when you say it in fandoms, you can refer to specific things and people all understand it. It's more common knowledge and there's only a handful of things everyone understands. In another universe, Sam Reich is part of Batman's Rogue Gallery. His Batman villain name is the Game Changer. I can't believe this got left in the tags. Batman finds him moderately annoying. The Riddler, on the other hand, is determined to kill this man if it's the last thing he ever does. Okay, so since getting cancelled came from fandom culture, what's the next fandom culture term that will be adopted by idiots in politics? The answer that makes me cry the most wins a prize. That are very seriously saying that young voters are whoopifying important events. They're gonna start calling themselves alphas and their opponents omegas without realizing it's gay empreg thing. I haven't heard anyone call someone else omega, but I have heard a lot of alpha. What if I told you 9 was less afraid of love than 10? Then what? For a moment I lived in a beautiful world where Doctor Who didn't exist and this was simply a 7, 8, 9 joke too layered for me to understand. You know, the funny thing is, I thought the exact same thing. Oh, you think it's adorable that I fell asleep on your lap? Well, it's a mark of my utter contempt. That's how little I fear you. Many Cavendish individuals are calling this bunny behavior or other such nonsense, but I am not a bunny rabbit. I am a bold and noble knightist. Read library book. It's good. Thank you, library. Read library book. It's bad. Thank you, library, for saving me from buying it. Honestly, libraries are good whether you have a good time or not. We can't remove people from a space based on sex or gender. How do we make sure the people in that group aren't buttholes? If you can have an enforceable no men rule in a queer space, you could probably have an enforceable no butthole rule instead. It's pretty easy, actually. It's actually easier to tell if someone is a butthole based on their actions than their gender, in my experience anyway. I know this isn't the regular theme of this blog, but I need to share it somewhere because today someone called my local fire department because they found a horse. And not only was it a not dead horse, they dug it up and it was a little muddy mostly. I didn't realize horses were burrowing animals. Neither did I. Apparently the horse. Wish I could filter every video on YouTube with the word iceberg in the title. Quietly and bashfully deletes the essay on lettuce I'd been working on. No, what have I done? I'm sorry. Can't wait to not sleep at all on September 11th. I know you're from the UK, but reading this as an American is really, really funny. Why? It's about 21 Pilots and their new album is out September 12th. There's 21 of them this time? Parent feeding the baby in the 1800s before planes were invented. Here comes the nothing. I had to think about this on my walk, but we forget about the ever graceful choo-choo train. Honestly mind-blowing how straight women seem to hate being attracted to men. They're the first to say men are ugly and wish they were lesbians because women are just much prettier, you know? Maybe it's just society's fault for objectifying women so much that women end up objectifying other women too, but damn, gay men don't even sit around saying men are ugly and wish they weren't gay. There are literal threads on Reddit where insecure guys are asking why women like men instead of just saying, because you're a straight man, duh. You get straight women replying like they're genuinely confused too, going, yeah, men are kinda ugly, not gonna lie. Meanwhile, the only people giving serious, detailed answers about what they like in men, other men. Straight women confused me because straight men don't even do this type of stuff. They've been sexualizing women to death forever, like, yeah, that's terrible, but you get me, right? I don't think straight women exist. This has affected my self-esteem as a dude. Immortality sucks because all your friends die. All your friends die anyway. Those we do not mourn are those who mourn us. Immortality sucks because we forget who we are. We always forget who we are. Do you remember who you were at 4 years of age? Who you were at 14? Who I am? Is a shadow cast on the wall. Immortality sucks because skill issue. Give me your liver. As a kid, I walked into a closet, saw an enormous snake, and then walked out. I walked up to my dad, as you do, and said, "Dad, there's a huge snake in my closet." So he smiled smugly, grabbed his knife, I think it was a machete, walked off, and then I heard him scream, followed shortly by 3 panic slams. It turns out he didn't actually think he'd find a huge snake in there, but it sure was there, and he sure did chop it into 3 pieces. I want your dad. I wish I could believe you mean as a father, but I know you mean as a man. If it makes you feel better, I'll call him Daddy while I'm enjoying him as a man. I don't think that makes me feel better, but I thank you for sharing anyway. I'm Yellow Sands the skeleton. Undertale Yellow, I think. Oh yeah, no, he's got that and everything. That's Undertale Yellow to a T. Just call my mother emotionally immature to her face. I've been doing my best to gray rock my family once they start their usual tactics, and I cannot begin to tell you how much they don't enjoy my non-reactions to their attempts of escalation. But there are limits. And for someone that always says, "I'm only being honest with you," whenever you call her out for being intentionally hurtful, she sure doesn't like honesty. I am picking my battles, and I am choosing violence. Good for you. I feel like people forget the phrase, pick your battles doesn't mean never fight back. It means choose when you should fight back. You know, if you're gonna dye a fountain for some cause, you might want to think seriously about the visual effect your choice of color will have when added to water. Oh, they went with yellow. Alright, fun fact, colors do have meaning, and there's a legit thing called color theory. Yellow does have more positive connotations than negative. Yellow is associated more with happiness, creativity, and hope than pissing on the poor.